It is all calm and almost serene, as the Chinese flute and mix of piano fills the atmosphere of my small abode. This helps calm my soul, not in meditation but rather in an honest way to distract my mind from the dusty television stand that sits abandoned right in front of me. The dust, now settled upon it over the short period of time since cleaning was last done, draws my attention back to the mid-semester months in Juja. It is a chill Saturday morning after the craze that is campus life within the confines and environs of Jomo Kenyatta University the previous Friday evening. As most youngsters now nurse their hangovers from the previous evening's rave and in other cases, short-lived carnivals, for Denis, it all boils down to a different trail of thought and action as he beats the dusty route towards Thika Road to take a matatu to Kenyatta University. The classes in the past week played not much to his interests as his dice laid thrown in the wrong table and hence the wrong wave. Yet before we follow Denis in his journey to discovery and lose our trail in his wake, allow me to say, now blessed days and pleasant nights. Welcome. Now welcome to the little pieces that look well placed together and even organized to perfection. Yet with a bit of dust and an earthing of the clutter, do we find all the misconceived pieces beneath. Welcome to the journey of a lad who, with the dice thrown in the wrong wave, do all the sharks come hunting. Or yet, with a redirection of his oar, does he find his compass through the tide. Now welcome to your story. Welcome to my story. And welcome to our story. Settling down in campus at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology and having picked a biomedical science course just to fill the books, Denis finds his bearings set off the mark and must thus reroute his compass to the person that he is, an artist at heart. So, throwing all caution to the wind and focusing less and less on his academics, he sets out to do songwriting and singing of the same, now with no resources to back him whatsoever, but his voice and his passion. Was I to use his own words, all the maths for science lectures by the one Mr. Humphreys was a consternation to his heart, not to miss the heavy wang in his accent that in most cases eluded Denis's ears. This, as he says, was just one of the many lectures that always sent his mind to a total slumber. In his heart, he knew that the arts, and in this case music, was his passion and blood flow. So even as the sun softly beat upon his head and upon the dusty tread down to the highway, and with an almost empty stomach, his focus was now set on nothing but releasing his first music single. This Saturday morning walk down the dusty road played as one of the many trips he would hence make to meet his friends in the nearby Kenyatta University who shared in his passion. Now with subsequent rehearsals and encouragement from his classmates and counterparts in Kenyatta University, he feels almost ripe and ready to record his first great hit. Looking at his expression at this point, his eyes seem almost drawn and lost in that initial vision and even his purpose. A moment that seemed like he was a stranger in a foreign land and the whole world did not know or even understand him. Yet in his heart, he knew that even the world was not ready for the blast that he had in store for it. Another sip of the now draining tea in our cups helps return us to the present as Denis continues his distant yet so engaging narration of himself. Now having heard about and even listened to their amazing emerging and now booming music artists like the likes of Issa, Juakali and even Nonini, he is drawn to produce his first hit record at their base and home ground, now known as Caliph Records. An early Monday morning rise, as his classmates headed for the lectures, He, instead, trod down the dusty dirt road once again to go do his recording at Caliph Records in the famous Eastleigh, Nairobi suburbs. Quite a crowded neighborhood this sure must have been for this young lad now coming from a very rural setup. Beauty to all this is that nothing at this juncture would work against Denis's focus and even end goal, to be a renowned musician with a hit song. Did he care about or even know that despite release of a single song, he still had a long way to go in branding and release of his single and even growing his brand, a brand that he not only didn't have but also hadn't even thought about. Yet before arrival to all these eventualities, he goes on to indulge me in how he is put on a waiting bench of a home-based studio from 9 a.m. in the morning till 4 p.m. in the evening without even seeing the said producer. His day hence is lost, with no food having failed his tummy, missing his lectures, and not being able to meet the producer and even sing and record his song. Well, I guess these streets ain't loyal, are they? At this point, there's a smile cross my heart as the beauty of all these pain plays right before me. Looking at him now, all he's talking about seems as nothing but the tale of a true fictionist. All because the person that he is, as we chat, is nothing compared to the depiction of his journey as he narrates it. Yet such, my dear trader, stands the grace and all-able sufficiency of the Almighty God, who journeys with us through all the perils that the world could ever shove or even strike at us. And with these thoughts lingering across my mind, am I reminded of the scriptures that oft grace my heart in perils such as these, as reported by the prophet Isaiah in script through chapters 43 and verse 2. And I quote as the Almighty speaks, "Now when you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they will not overwhelm you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be scorched, nor will the flame burn you." End of quote. Such a wave of comfort, even to an ailing, charring heart, for with this day wasted and the disappointment that quipped it, still the Almighty's hand was right upon Denis's shoulder as he gets to get the contacts of one Alpha Msanii, a move that to a little aspiring and still so ambitious young lad was a sure kill. I mean, he was now rubbing shoulders with the who is who in this renowned recording studio. This brush of shoulders came in handy, that is, if you're still wondering to what purpose it was, as it enabled our little aspiring friend to call in advance and even book an appointment with Msanii. Did I mention our trader Denis's initial shock when he walked into the recording studio, only to find a pair of sound monitors, a computer desktop in line with a microphone condenser, with no heavy-side guitars or even pianos and drums, and with a space used that played as a recording studio by day and a calmly family home by night. Aha! Now such too, my dear trader, plays the shock to my heart as I sat in this simple yet amazing recording studio as hits flow calmly through these subtle yet effective sound monitors. Denis gets a chance to meet Alpha Msanii again after padding through the dusty Juja trails, and this time round, seated next to this interesting music producer, is he told to sing, and with much gusto does he rap with the flow of the kinds of Tupac and other old school rap musicians. I would honestly lie that I know. A lot of pent-up anger is felt within his lyrics, a signal to his struggling childhood even to the present. Yet listening to these lyrics, does the producer advise him to tone down a little bit on the anger and derived westernization and try something more relatable with the young Kenyan populace? Now with beats at hand and a chance to come up with a more relatable song, does our friend Denis encounter his second biggest question in life. With the opening of his songs project file, must Denis come up with a stage name and hence his brand? Not knowing that this was to define his entire career ahead and that it is all scriptural, Denis picks up a pen and, playing around with his names, writes down the name Dendi, a fulfillment, in my opinion, of the command to Habakkuk again by the Almighty in the oracles, and I quote, "And the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tablets, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry." So, Denis works on his first song called Fursa in Swahili, to mean a chance. He struggles to share it to the media houses, and yet with the limited funds available to him, does his song die with the wave of the then 2007 post-election violence. The vision, at this point, all but seems to be dying off, and its appointed time even seems so far-fetched. Yet with such short-sightedness, could our impatience sure blur our eyes to their accomplishment of the same? And yet, to find out if this vision comes to pass, or whether it delays and remains a lie, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more. Yet until the next time, my dear trader, and sincerely hoping that you enjoy this third episode of What's Your Story with Denis in his journey to discovery. Please stay blessed and stay safe. It's Paper, the sketches of life.